You know that cold rush in your chest when you realize you've just ruined something important? That gut punch mix of horror and disbelief? Yeah, that was me last Tuesday morning. My name's Ryan, 27, junior analyst at a mid-sized marketing firm. I'm the guy who's good with numbers but terrible at pretending. I enjoy small talk in the office kitchen. I keep my head down, meet deadlines, and try not to do anything that makes HR remember my name. At least, that used to be true. The day started normal enough. I rolled into the office at 8:55 a.m. with a travel mug of lukewarm coffee and the kind of determination only 5 hours of sleep can give you. My boss, Mr. Patterson, early 50s, gray suit, expression like a permanent, "Are you serious?" had been reminding me for a week straight. Ryan, the quarterly performance report. On my desk. Tuesday morning. No delays. That report was my baby. Dozens of spreadsheets, pivot tables, graphs, endless late nights squinting at numbers until they stopped looking real. By Monday evening, I had it polished, formatted, and saved neatly in my Q1 reports folder. All I needed to do Tuesday morning was hit send. Easy. But here's the thing. Monday night, while finishing the final charts, I got distracted. Not by Netflix, not by friends calling. By memes. Yeah, I know. I was scrolling through this group chat where my buddy kept dropping ridiculous memes, cat reaction images, cursed Shrek edits, and one especially dumb one that had me crying with laughter. A picture of a raccoon in a tiny business suit with the caption, "When you submit absolute garbage but still expect that bonus." It was 2 a.m. I laughed, saved it to my desktop. Don't ask why, my brain stops making logical choices past midnight. Then went to bed thinking I was a responsible adult with everything under control. So Tuesday morning comes. I draft a short email. "Hi Mr. Patterson. Please find attached the finalized Q1 performance report. Let me know if any revisions are needed. Orion. Professional, clean, no fluff." I click Attach File, scroll to the desktop, and double-click the first thing with Report in the name. Attach. Send. Done. I sat back, proud, sipping my bitter coffee like I just nailed the easiest win of my career. But 30 seconds later, I noticed something odd. That little whoosh of the sent email was followed by a creeping memory. Wait. Why was that file size so small? Reports with 30 charts don't weigh 150 kilobytes. Curious, I open my sent folder. My stomach immediately dropped through the floor. Staring back at me was my perfectly polite email, with one single attachment. raccoon_suit_meme.jpg. I didn't even breathe. Just sat frozen, mouse hovering over the screen like I could drag the file back through cyberspace. My hand actually shook. I whispered out loud, "Oh no. Oh no, 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 no." And as if the universe wanted to speed-run my humiliation, a notification popped up right then. New message from Mr. Patterson. My heart pounded so hard I swore people in the next cubicle could hear it. I clicked on the notification like it was a ticking bomb. The subject line, "Ryan, this better be a joke." I swear my soul left my body. I could already see myself packing up my tiny cactus plant from my desk and walking out of the building under the watchful stares of my coworkers. Still, I had to look. I opened the email. There it was. No greeting, no signature, just a single line from Mr. Patterson. Care to explain why I just opened a raccoon in a suit instead of my quarterly report? I stared at the screen, sweating bullets. My first instinct was denial. Pretend it was some weird computer glitch. But then my brain reminded me, Ryan, the file was literally called raccoon_meme.jpg. Not much wiggle room there. I was still frozen when my coworker Hannah popped her head over the cubicle wall. She's one of those always cheerful people who manages to stay upbeat even on Mondays. You okay? You look like you saw a ghost. I forced a laugh that sounded more like a cough. Yeah, just spilled coffee on myself. Which was technically true because my hands were shaking so badly, I actually had. That's when the second email came. Not from Mr. Patterson. From his assistant, Karen, queen of the passive-aggressive subject line. Please resend immediately. Mr. Patterson is about to start the board meeting. I swear the walls closed in. The board meeting. The one where he was supposed to present my report. The one with all the senior partners, department heads, and, oh yeah, the CEO. My mind went into overdrive. Do I sprint to Patterson's office with the actual file like some desperate intern from a sitcom? Do I email back a frantic apology? Do I fake a medical emergency and vanish into the stairwell forever? While my brain debated every possible escape plan, Hannah leaned in closer. What happened? I muttered without thinking. I sent my boss a meme instead of the quarterly report. Her eyes widened, then she slapped a hand over her mouth to stifle a laugh. No way. What meme? I groaned. Raccoon. In a suit. That was it. She lost it. She doubled over laughing, tears forming in her eyes, nearly spilling her own coffee. Ryan, you legend, she wheezed. Not a legend, I hissed. Unemployed. Very unemployed. Before I could sink fully into despair, Karen's third email pinged. This one wasn't even words. Just. I grabbed my mouse, opened the real report, attached it, and smashed send like my life depended on it. My hands were clammy, my heart was pounding, and for a brief second I thought maybe, I'd salvaged this disaster. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown caller ID. And I knew. It was Patterson. I stared at my buzzing phone like it was a live grenade. Around me, the office hummed with the usual morning noise, keyboards clicking, printers whining, someone's Bluetooth speaker faintly playing pop music. But in my world, everything went silent except for that vibrating rectangle screaming, "Answer me." I picked up. My voice cracked. Hello. Ryan. Patterson's voice was sharp, clipped, the kind that made interns rethink their entire career path. Do you want to tell me why, when I opened what was supposed to be my quarterly report in front of the CEO, I got a raccoon in a business suit? There it was. My nightmare scenario confirmed. He hadn't just opened it privately. He had opened it in front of everyone. My mouth went dry. Sir, I can explain. I'm waiting. It was a mistake. I had the files on my desktop and... You attached a meme, he cut in. To a board presentation. The pause that followed was so long I thought the call had dropped. Then, out of nowhere, I heard muffled laughter in the background. Multiple people. My boss lowered his voice, like he was covering the receiver. Stop. Stop it. This isn't funny. Then, louder again. Ryan, do you understand the position you've put me in? Yes, sir. I croaked. I just sent the actual report. It's in your inbox right now. Another pause. Then, a sigh. Long, heavy. Fine. I'll use it. But we're going to have a very serious conversation after this meeting. The line went dead. I sat frozen in my chair, phone still pressed to my ear. My cubicle felt like a coffin. Hannah, still perched on the edge of her desk, whispered, "So, how bad was it?" "Bad," I muttered. "Like career suicide bad." She grinned. "Or iconic. Depends how you look at it." I buried my face in my hands. I could already picture it, whispers around the office, my name forever linked to the raccoon meme incident. 30 minutes crawled by. My inbox stayed mercifully quiet. I tried to distract myself by fiddling with spreadsheets, but my eyes kept darting to the clock. Finally, at 10:07 a.m., the board meeting ended. And Mr. Patterson stepped out of the glass conference room. His expression was unreadable. Not angry. Not amused. Just unreadable. Which, somehow, was even worse. He scanned the bullpen, eyes locking on me. Then he raised a hand, crooked his finger. The universal sign for, you, in my office. Now. My stomach dropped like an elevator with cut cables. Walking toward Patterson's office felt like marching to my own execution. My legs were heavy, my palms sweaty, and every step seemed to echo louder than it should have. The bullpen was too quiet, everyone had noticed the finger point. I caught Hannah mouthing good luck as I passed, which did absolutely nothing to calm me down. Patterson's office was all glass walls and minimalist furniture. No clutter, no family photos, just a desk, 2 chairs, and a potted plant that looked like it feared him too. He stood by the window, arms crossed, staring down at the street below like a disappointed god surveying his kingdom. Sit. His voice was calm, which somehow terrified me more than if he'd yelled. I sat, spine straight, like posture alone might save my career. He turned slowly, adjusting his glasses. So, tell me, Ryan, what possessed you to send me that? I swallowed. Sir, it was an honest mistake. I had multiple files open, I clicked the wrong one. You don't say. His eyebrow twitched. Do you know what happened in that boardroom? I braced myself. You had to stall while everyone laughed at me? His lips pressed into a thin line. Not exactly. I opened the file, yes. And there it was. Your raccoon in a suit. He paused. The CEO laughed. Out loud. Then the head of sales laughed. And suddenly the entire table was in hysterics. I blinked. Wait, what? Patterson adjusted his tie. Apparently the timing was perfect. The CEO had just been ranting about how our projections felt unrealistic. Then, bam. Raccoon meme. Caption about submitting garbage but still expecting a bonus. He thought I'd planned it as a joke. My jaw dropped. And he liked it. Patterson's expression darkened. He loved it. He called me refreshingly self-aware. Said more executives should have a sense of humor. He even asked me to forward him the meme for his keynote next month. I covered my face with both hands, half dying of relief, half dying of embarrassment. Oh my God. Patterson's tone sharpened again. Don't celebrate yet. You humiliated me, Ryan. I don't care if they laughed. I don't like being laughed at. You made me look like I can't control my own team. I'm so sorry, I stammered. It'll never happen again. Triple-checking attachments for the rest of my life. He paced behind his desk, fingers tapping the wood. Then he stopped, looked me dead in the eye, and said, You're coming with me to lunch. The CEO specifically asked to meet the meme kid. My blood turned to ice. Wait, what? He straightened his tie again. 1 o'clock. Don't embarrass me further. Dismissed. I stood, somehow both relieved and more terrified than before. As I stepped out, Hannah pounced. Well, am I ordering you a farewell cake or a congratulations cake? I groaned. Neither. Apparently, I'm meeting the CEO. Her eyes lit up. Ryan, you're famous. Ryan, I muttered, is dead. By the time lunch rolled around, my nerves were so shredded I felt like I'd downed 6 espressos. My hands wouldn't stop fidgeting, and no amount of water seemed to wash the dryness out of my throat. Hannah, of course, didn't help. She leaned across the cubicle wall around 12:40, grinning like a kid at Christmas. So, what are you gonna say to the CEO? Nice to meme you. I glared. Not funny. Correction, hilarious. She gave me 2 thumbs up. Good luck, meme king. I muttered something about updating my resume and followed Patterson out of the office. He didn't say a word as we walked down the street to a sleek, glassy restaurant where the cheapest thing on the menu probably cost more than my weekly groceries. Inside, the CEO was already seated. Mr. Collins, late 50s, sharp suit, hair so perfect it looked like it had been sketched on by an architect. He was laughing at something on his phone, then looked up as we approached. Ah, here he is. Collins stood, shaking Patterson's hand, then turned to me with surprising warmth. The meme man himself. My smile was weak. Hi sir. He waved for us to sit. Ryan, right? You know, you made my morning. We go through endless spreadsheets, graphs, projections, it's all so dry. But that raccoon? That was genius. Perfect commentary on corporate nonsense. I blinked. Oh, thank you, sir. It was unintentional. Patterson shot me a warning glare, but Collins just laughed harder. That's what makes it so good. Authentic. You can't fake that kind of timing. He leaned in, lowering his voice like he was sharing a state secret. I've already asked marketing to work it into the opening slide of my keynote at the Investor Summit. I nearly choked on my water. Wait, what? Don't look so surprised, he said. Humor makes people listen. That raccoon in a suit is going to open a multi-million-dollar presentation. Patterson's jaw tightened. With all due respect, sir, we should perhaps focus on the... Collins cut him off with a dismissive wave. Numbers, yes, yes. We'll get to the numbers. But people remember the feeling. And right now, they're remembering laughter. You know what that means, Ryan. I swallowed hard. Morale boost? Exactly. He clapped me on the shoulder so hard I nearly fell out of my chair. You've got instinct, kid. Rough around the edges, but instinct. I like that. Patterson looked like he'd swallowed a lemon. The rest of lunch was surreal. Collins kept asking me questions about my background, my sense of humor, even what social media apps I used. At one point he actually said, "We need more people like you shaking things up." I just kept nodding and praying I wouldn't say anything stupid. Finally, as dessert arrived, Collins leaned back, smiling. Ryan, how would you feel about helping my team with the Investor Summit? Just to make sure the presentation has flair. I froze, fork halfway to my mouth. You mean me? Like, present? Collins grinned. Not present. Just consult. Bring that raccoon energy. I wanted to melt through the floor. When we got back from lunch, my head was spinning. I'd gone into that restaurant expecting to get fired over a raccoon in a suit, and somehow walked out as the CEO's unofficial flair consultant. Whatever that even meant. The moment I stepped into the office, Hannah was waiting. She jumped up like a paparazzi ambushing a celebrity. Well, what happened? Are you alive? Did he throw breadsticks at you? I dropped into my chair with a groan. Worse. He liked it. Her jaw dropped. Wait. Liked it. I nodded miserably. He wants me to help with his investor summit presentation. Something about bringing raccoon energy. Hannah slapped both hands on her desk and burst out laughing so loudly half the floor turned to look. Ryan, you absolute legend. Do you realize what this means? You just memed your way into a promotion. I buried my face in my hands. Or into eternal humiliation. Of course, the news spread through the office faster than free donuts. By 3 p.m., people I barely talked to were strolling past my desk, smirking. Hey, raccoon guy. Got any fresh memes for the afternoon slump? Careful, don't CC the whole company this time. Someone even taped a printout of the raccoon meme to the office fridge with a sticky note, our new mascot. I wanted the floor to open up and swallow me whole. By 4 p.m., Patterson called me into his office again. He looked tired, like he'd aged 10 years since the morning. Ryan, he said, massaging his temples, I don't know how you managed it, but Collins thinks you're some kind of comedic visionary. So here's what's going to happen. You'll assist marketing with the summit deck. You'll keep Collins happy. And you will, under no circumstances, make me look foolish again. Am I clear? Crystal, I said quickly. Good. Because if you so much as attach a gif of SpongeBob, I'll personally escort you out of this building. I nodded, trying to look serious while internally screaming. The rest of the day blurred by. At 5:30, as I was packing up, Hannah leaned against my cubicle. So, how's it feel? Yesterday you were just Ryan, spreadsheet guy. Today you're Ryan, meme whisperer to the CEO. I groaned. It feels like I'm living in a bad sitcom. She grinned. Sitcom or not, you better own it. The raccoon has spoken. I laughed despite myself. God help me. As I walked out of the building, I had no idea just how much bigger this whole meme fiasco was about to get. The next morning, I walked into the office hoping the whole raccoon fiasco would just fade into the background. Maybe people would get bored and move on to gossip about someone else, like who was stealing yogurts from the communal fridge. No such luck. The moment I sat down, Hannah came sprinting over, waving her phone like she'd just won the lottery. Ryan, you're viral. I frowned. What are you talking about? She shoved the screen in my face. It was Twitter. Well, technically X now, but I refused to call it that. Trending under the business hashtag was a screenshot. My meme. My raccoon meme. Captioned. CEO uses this to kick off a board meeting. Legend. I blinked. No way. How did? Someone in the boardroom must have snapped a pic, Hannah said, practically vibrating with excitement. Look at the views. 50,000 in 3 hours. People are making edits. Look. Sure enough, the raccoon now had spin-offs. Raccoon with a briefcase. Raccoon at a podium. Even one photoshopped into a scene from Wolf of Wall Street. My stomach flipped. Oh God. I'm going to be known as Raccoon Guy forever. By noon, it had gotten worse. LinkedIn posts. TikTok skits. Someone even started a meme account called @CorporateRaccoonEnergy, and it already had 10,000 followers. Every time I checked my email, there was another message from someone outside our department. Hey Ryan, heard about your meme. Any chance you could add some humor to our client deck? I wanted to crawl under my desk and never come out. At 2 p.m., Patterson summoned me again. He looked furious, waving his phone like a weapon. Do you realize what you've done? This thing is all over social media. Our PR department just called me because journalists are asking if we really use raccoon memes in board meetings. I sank into the chair. Sir, I didn't post it, I swear. I know you didn't, he snapped. But Collins thinks it's fantastic. He just emailed me, raccoon stays in the keynote. I blinked. Wait. Seriously? Patterson rubbed his temples. I swear this company's going insane. Just do what you're told. Help marketing polish the slides. And for the love of God, Ryan, no more raccoons. I nodded obediently, though a horrible thought nagged at me. Because if the internet had already crowned me meme guy, I doubted I had any say in whether more raccoons were coming. The week leading up to the investor summit was the most surreal of my life. Normally, I'd spend my days buried in spreadsheets, double-checking decimal points until my brain went numb. Instead, I found myself in endless meetings with a marketing team, trying to figure out the optimal placement of a raccoon meme in a multi-million-dollar presentation. I wish I was joking. At first, I tried to keep my mouth shut. I was just there to nod, maybe suggest a font change. But the team treated me like some kind of oracle of internet humor. Ryan, do you think the raccoon should come in before the revenue slide or after? Ryan, what if we animated him? Like, walking across the screen with a briefcase. Ryan, does Comic Sans make it ironic or just tragic? I wanted to scream. This was supposed to be a Fortune 500 presentation, not a Reddit thread. But every time I tried to gently suggest toning it down, someone would say, well, the CEO loved it, didn't he? And that shut me up fast. Meanwhile, the internet circus only grew louder. The raccoon had been memed into political cartoons, motivational posters, even a fake TED Talk screenshot. Business raccoon explains late-stage capitalism. At one point, my mom called me. Honey, are you famous? I groaned. Please don't say that. Well, your aunt just sent me a Facebook post with that raccoon thing and wrote, isn't this your son's company? I wanted to sink into the earth. By the night before the summit, I was a wreck. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, rehearsing imaginary scenarios. What if the investors thought it was unprofessional? What if the CEO blamed me when the joke bombed? What if this single meme actually tanked the company's stock price? I pictured headlines. Marketing firm loses millions over raccoon joke. At 7 a.m. sharp the next day, I was at the convention center. The place buzzed with energy, rows of chairs, big screens glowing, catering tables stacked with coffee urns. Patterson looked like he hadn't slept in 3 nights. He pulled me aside, his voice low and tense. Ryan, remember, Collins thinks this is brilliant. If the room laughs, you're a hero. If they don't, he trailed off, making a throat-slitting gesture. I swallowed hard. No pressure, huh? By 9 a.m., the investors were filing in, suits, briefcases, expensive watches. I sat off to the side with the marketing team, heart pounding. Collins stepped on stage, all smiles, microphone in hand. Ladies and gentlemen, he began, before we dive into the numbers, I want to start with a little honesty. Sometimes in business, we submit less than perfect work. He clicked the clicker. And there it was. 40 feet tall, plastered across the main screen for hundreds of investors to see. The raccoon in a suit. The room went dead silent. The silence stretched for what felt like an eternity. My palms were sweating so much I nearly short-circuited my laptop. Patterson, 2 seats down, looked like he was about to faint. My brain screamed, this is it. This is the moment they boo him off stage, the company collapses, and I change my name, move to Alaska, and live in a cabin with no Wi-Fi. Then, somewhere in the middle row, a laugh. Just one. But it broke the tension like glass. A second laugh followed. Then a chuckle from the back. Within seconds, the entire auditorium was roaring. People were elbowing each other, pointing, wiping tears. Even the stone-faced investor in the front row, guy in a three-piece suit who hadn't blinked once, was shaking his head, grinning. Collins let the laughter roll for a few beats, then leaned into the mic. See? We can laugh at ourselves. And that's exactly why we succeed. Now let's look at how we turn challenges into opportunity. Click. Slide changed. Smooth transition into the actual financials. Like nothing happened. But the mood had shifted. People were relaxed, engaged, actually smiling through bar charts and revenue projections. It was like the raccoon had cracked open a door everyone secretly wanted open. From my corner seat, I exhaled for the first time in 5 minutes. Hannah texted me from across the room, "Raccoon saves the day, raccoon fire." I almost laughed out loud. By the end of the summit, Collins was glowing. Investors clapped, shook hands, even lingered to compliment him. One woman actually said, "That opening was the most memorable thing I've seen in a corporate presentation in years." As the crowd filtered out, Patterson gave me a look that could melt steel. "You're lucky they laughed," he muttered. Collins, however, was beaming. He clapped me on the back so hard I stumbled. "Ryan, brilliant work. I knew it would land. We'll need more of this. Keep your calendar open." I nodded numbly, still processing the fact that my biggest career screw-up had just become the company's branding strategy. Outside, Hannah bounded up to me, practically bouncing. "You own this place now. Do you understand? You're the meme messiah." I groaned. "Please never call me that again." But deep down, I knew she was right. The raccoon wasn't going anywhere. By the time I got home that night, I felt like I'd lived through a fever dream. I collapsed onto my couch, tie half undone, brain buzzing with everything that had happened. A week ago, I was just the quiet analyst in the corner cubicle who nobody remembered at happy hour. Now, I was the meme guy. It didn't matter that I hadn't planned any of it. It didn't matter that the raccoon had almost gotten me fired. Somehow, in this bizarre twist of corporate fate, my biggest screw-up had turned into the thing that made executives laugh, investors lean in, and strangers on the internet create fan accounts. I scrolled through Twitter, Fine, X, and saw the raccoon again, but this time on a business influencer's post. Caption: "Innovation isn't about numbers, it's about connecting with people. Be the raccoon in the suit." 10,000 likes. I laughed. Out loud. Alone in my apartment. The absurdity of it all hit me at once. I had spent weeks agonizing over decimals, formatting, pivot tables, and none of it mattered half as much as one stupid meme I accidentally attached to an email. My phone buzzed. A message from Hannah. "Congrats, meme messiah. Drinks on you tomorrow." I typed back, "Deal. But you're never letting me near your laptop again." Then I set my phone down, leaned back, and closed my eyes. For the first time in days, I felt okay. Maybe even proud. Because yeah, I'd messed up. Big time. But sometimes failure doesn't end in flames. Sometimes, it just puts a raccoon in a suit on a 40-foot screen and reminds everyone, including me, that mistakes aren't always the end of the story. Sometimes, they're the beginning.